Marie, you were nearly here before me there. I was closing the blinds down because it's hot and the sun's coming in. More, I feel all red in the face. And I'm just sitting at the computer, so God knows what it's like out there in Tenerife, where people are searching for Jay. Okay, so I hope you had a good day. I want to say my thanks before I start. Thank you for all of you that are watching the videos. Thank you to those of you who like the videos. And thank you especially to subscribers. And even more especially to my members or anyone who supported my channel in any other way. Like buying a Ko-fi, sending a super sticker, sending me an email, leaving a nice comment. Thank you to everyone. Now, I just have to say before I start, we've got Paulie Dog here. Princess Tia, she's not very well. She's like a bit sorry for herself. We're not really sure what's wrong with her, if she's hurt her leg or something. She's a German Shepherd. She's here behind me. Are you all right there? So you may hear a few little cries and that. She just doesn't seem... Let's see if I can... Tia! Trying to think where she is actually. I think she's on the other side down here. Anyway, she just doesn't seem her normal self, and it's a little bit worrying. So just to let you know that, because if I have to suddenly go off if she gets upset, I mean, she's okay. She just doesn't seem to be able to get comfortable, and seems to have a poorly holding her leg not right, and she's not as enthusiastic about her treats. Could be the weather. Apparently she is in season, so it could be a monthly or a half a yearlies, but yeah, she's not very well, bless her. So just to let you know that if I do suddenly have to disappear, it'll only be because if Princess Tia is not very well, I'll have to see to her. She's okay, she's lying here behind me, but she just looks a little bit sorry for herself, bless her. Okay, now don't forget to join in the poll. I've put a poll up there. What do we think happened to Jay? Do you think it was foul play, or it is foul play? Is that the reason why they can't find him? Do you feel like he's had an accident, got lost on the trail, and that, you know, he's just sort of gone the wrong way and succumbed to the heat, etc.? Or do you think it's a whole staged thing? You know, I know there's a lot of you conspiracy theorists out there with no proof whatsoever saying this, that and the other about what might have happened. But I just wanted to get a general opinion. I've also put on there, not sure. If you just don't know, you're not sure, or you've got no strong feelings one way or another. At the moment, it appears like foul play is the top percentage of people, but you know, there's a long way to go yet. People will be coming onto this stream, but have a go at the poll. Let me know what you think on the poll. It's just to give an idea of what people are thinking, really. None of us know, of course, none of us know really what's happened to Jay, unfortunately. Okay, I'm just going to say hello to people that are on there already. I probably won't be able to say hello to everyone as I go along, because these videos that I do on Jay, they normally are popular because this case has gripped everyone, isn't it? It's the mystery of it. It's the length of time it's going on. You know, people feel engrossed in this case for various reasons. Might be like me, who the reason I first noticed this case over a week ago, well, it's a week ago. Yeah, no, it's over a week ago. Was because Jay is a young man who went missing in Tenerife. So I live in Spain, so that resonated. I've got a young adult son, so that resonated. He's from my neck of the woods. I'm from Manchester. A lot of my family live very nearby where Jay is. So, you know, that's why it became, you know, immediately relevant to me. Of course, now, over a week later, people are noticing the case more. And where is Jay, bless him? My personal opinion is that he has genuinely just wandered off the track, and he will be found. Unfortunately, I do not feel that it's looking very good. You know, I don't believe you'll be found alive. Unfortunately, I wish I did. I'd like to have hope, and I did have hope in the beginning. First couple of days, I just thought, you know, this is a boy who's got lost. The police are going to find him on the, you know, the recovery teams are going to find him. He'll need to go to hospital. He'll be dehydrated, but he'll be fine. But I don't feel like that now. But anyway, meantime, I'm going to light the candle for Jay, because there's always hope. You know, sometimes no news is good news. What we're going to look at in today's video are any new developments. There have been some interesting things have happened, although we don't know anymore exactly. And just that candle, I say it's for Jay, but it's also for his family. I'm praying for him and his family every day. Oh, there you go. You can see Princess Tia. Tia, are you okay? Oh, she's just so sorry for herself. Okay, so yes, I was going to say hello to everyone. So I'm going to say hello to the ones that are here now. And I hope I may, if you come on later, I may miss you. But once I get into it, it'd be difficult to say hello to everyone. But hi, Laurie. Hi, David. Hi, Charlie. I personally agree with that, Charlie. I think it's an accident. David thinks it's foul play. That's my next scenario. Is it foul play? Lottie's leaning towards staged. Heather's foul play. I just don't think it is staged, because to me his parents look very, very upset. But you never know. Hi, Annie. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Ali. Yeah. Oh, it's hot and humid in Glasgow. Oh, have you all recovered from losing in the Euros the other night? Sorry to mention it. Listen, you can probably laugh at me tomorrow after England have played tonight. Though England are going through, aren't they? England are going through into the next stages. It's what amazes me about football. You know, Scotland plays rubbish and doesn't go through, but they're like heroes. England plays rubbish, but they're going through, but everybody hates them. But anyway, that's how it is for, I mean, I talk about the English fans. You know, they take so much criticism. But you never know, tonight we might put on a good display. They're all saying, oh, we want to see a performance from the England team. I don't care about performance. I just want to see them win. They win. I don't care whether it's, I've watched England a million times where they've played brilliantly and lost. So I don't care if they play brilliantly or not, just as long as they win. Nice weather in Devon. Oh, hi, Yvonne. Yes, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, Lottie. So, yeah, this morning I woke up to the news that Caleb Harris has been found, or they think his remains have been found after months and months. But that was, well, I say we don't know for certain it was foul play, but seeing how he was found down a manhole cover in a sewer, you know, very near to his flat. I think somebody definitely put him there. I personally, if I was to say, if somebody was to put a poll up now about what happened to Caleb Harris, I would say one of his friends. I know it sounds awful, but who else was going to do it and put him in a manhole cover just literally up the road? So I'd be very surprised if it wasn't, the answers weren't close to home there. But time will tell. Hi, Louisa. Oh, I keep going to say hello to the same people again. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Ocean. Hi, Crime Audit. Oh, well, Crime Audit. Peter Hyatt says it must be true. You know, but anyway, never mind. I'm not saying anything about that. Boo hiss, David. It's hot all over the UK, isn't it? That's good, but apparently it's not going to last. But I wish it was a bit cooler here. Okay, hi, Pauline. So let's see, what have we got to look at? Right, the first thing I want to show you, I'm going to go in the order that I had these things prepared. Some things might have changed a little bit. There's new news. Well, I say new news coming in all the time. There's no new news really, in the sense as he hasn't been found yet. But let's have a look. So the very first thing that I was looking at this morning was, or last night, no, this morning, that Jay Slater's dad, Warren, says the police are keeping the family in the dark as they share new CCTV image in the hope of finding the teenager. So each time we look at these articles, I'm not going through the whole story of what's happened. Again, I'm presuming that most people that are watching this video know that Jay was at a rave for a weekend. He went home, he went off for an after party with two older men. Jay is only 19 years old. He was on holiday in Tenerife, and then he set off to walk back to his apartment the next morning. This is the official version, what we know so far. People will dispute it and say this didn't happen, that didn't happen. This is what, the official version of what happened. He phoned his friend Lucy to say he was lost. He'd hurt his leg on a cactus. He had no phone battery, he had no water, he had no idea where he was. And then shortly after that, his phone cut off. So where is he? So the focus of the police search has been in the mountainous area where he disappeared. This is in Tenerife in Spain. Well, I say it's in Spain, but Tenerife is one of the Canary Islands. It is considered as part of Spain, but it's actually nearer Africa than it is to the Spanish mainland. I wish I was closer, because I would have definitely gone there myself just to try and help, or not to search. I don't recommend anyone go there to help to search. You're just going to make things worse, because this is not a terrain that you can help search in. What we have to remember is the local search teams, etc., they're used to searching for people in that area. If sort of normal people, if you like, go out to help search, the police and the search teams are going to end up looking for them as well, because it's so easy to get lost there. So let's just have a look at
Nobody's told us, so the mountain police, brilliant, but I don't know how the other police work.
Yeah, so he's saying nobody's told us anything except the mountain police. They're brilliant, but I don't know how the other police work. Well, the thing is that exactly how the Guardia Civil work is, they don't tell you anything. That's just how it is. And to be honest, I don't think British people really tell people anything. But what I've noticed here is there's been no press conference, not as far as I know anyway. Every now and again, the Guardia Civil release a statement just to say all theories are on the table. We will not give up until we know for sure what's happened to Jay. The usual sort of things that they're saying without actually giving anything away.
They could be doing everything, but if they are doing, they're not telling us what they're doing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so he's saying they could be doing everything. Believe me, they will be doing everything, but they're not telling the family, which must be very frustrating. I understand that. But that, it wouldn't matter. It's not a nationality thing. They're not telling them because they're British. They wouldn't be telling them whoever they were. It's just the way the Guardia Civil work. They work in secret. Policia Nacional work in secret. They'll give out the information they want to give out when they want to give it out. And until then, even to the family, they're not going to give that information. Because they don't want to compromise. At the end of the day, they do not want to compromise this search, this case, because it could turn into a case of foul play. So they're keeping their cards close to their chest and not compromising it in any way, shape or form. So yeah, Jay Slater's father, Warren, has said police have left him and his family in the dark over the search for the missing British teenager, as they shared what they hope is an image of him. So yeah, now suddenly this new picture has come out. This Jay. Now, the problem with this as well is this picture was seen, where has it gone again now? This picture was seen not, later on in the day, I think, wasn't it? Was this the one at 6 o'clock? Yeah, so this blurry image of what they believe could be Jay was captured on CCTV in a nearby town 10 hours after he was first reported missing. Oh, she's still poorly, isn't she? So, yeah. One, is it Jay? Is this picture even Jay? And if not, it's going to just distract the police again from where they are, looking for him. I mean, it's got that look there. It could be him. This person's got shorts on. But what would he be doing somewhere 10 hours away, 10 hours later? Why would he have not phoned his mum to say he was okay, or, let people know he was okay? Surely he would have done that if he could. So I don't, well, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that picture has anything to do with it, to be honest. So, yeah, been on holiday with friends. Last heard from around 8:30 when he called his friend Lucy. And the walk would have taken him 11 hours. Oh, this is the podcast. Let's have a listen to the podcast.
Jay Slater has now been missing in Tenerife for more than 7 days. The search for the 19-year-old from Lancashire is now focused on the northwest of the Spanish island, in a national park close to where he was last seen, waiting for a bus. His family say they're in a living nightmare, refusing to give up hope, even as it diminishes with each passing day. But in the absence of any news, positive or otherwise, once again the social media Sherlocks have emerged. Online speculation has reached fever pitch, with unsubstantiated allegations being made against Jay and his family. Some influencers have even travelled to the island to conduct their own investigations. So, what is the latest on the disappearance of Jay Slater? I'm Neil Patterson. Welcome to the Sky News Daily. Later, we will be speaking to one former chief constable with experience in leading.
Yeah, and of course, one of the influencers who's travelled to the island is, of course, Mark Williams Twonk. He's touched down in Tenerife. Don't worry, Mark will sort it out in 2 days, according to him. He will give the family answers in 2 days. Well, I hope he does, because maybe he will. And if he does, nobody will be happier than me if he does find the answers within 2 days. But I just think that really the only thing Mark is doing there is self-publicising. But hopefully I'm wrong.
In precisely this sort of inquiry. But let's begin on Tenerife with our correspondent, Shingi Marariki. At 7 days on, Shingi, what is the current state of the inquiry?
So they're targeting their efforts near a town called Masca, which is in a national park in the northwest part of Tenerife. And it's really arid up there. It's really difficult. It's remote. There's a one-track road that goes up there, which is winding, and it's on its way up into altitude. And they keep on picking out little bits to go at. So they started looking at a ravine, which was further south. Then they moved up. And then yesterday they were looking at 2 outhouses that were further north. So it's almost like they pick areas and gradually move through this national park. When we got here on Thursday, there were drones up there, there were sniffer dogs, there were helicopters involved in the search. Whereas as a contrast, yesterday, which should have been Sunday, there were a few officers combing these outbuildings down the bottom of a ravine, and it felt a lot more, I don't know if the word's concentrated, but we've definitely seen the size and scale of things in an obvious sense slow down. And just to give you a sense of where I am as well, so we're in a town which is about 7 kilometers from the search area. And the reason this has become a bit more of a relevant location is because Jay's family, who are actually here today, are saying that they've seen CCTV footage that's been passed to them by someone here which shows him in the square here. It's very grainy. It's very difficult to make out. But it's a reminder that they're quite hopeful and they're trying to chase every lead possible. It's a search operation of 2 parts. The first part is what's going on the ground near the town of Masca, where he was last spotted. But then there's one going on here in this town, which is being led by the family.
So, Shingy, just for those who haven't been following this story for the 7 days in the way in which you have, remind us what we know up until that point when Jay went missing, that last sighting that took place whilst he was waiting for a bus and then chose not to.
Jay was here for a music festival, the NRG festival. It was a 3-night festival, and on the 3rd night, he met 2 men who we understand he then traveled with to a villa in the northern part of Tenerife, which is really different to the Tenerife that we associate with British tourists who maybe might go out on the strip and enjoy the sun. It's a pretty rugged, arid part of Tenerife. From there, we understand that around 8 o'clock, he, instead of getting the bus, went the wrong direction up north towards the mountains. We've spoken to an eyewitness, a lady called Ophelia, who told us.
I must admit, that's one of the things that I do wonder about, is why Jay went back to these guys' house. Did he just not realise where he was going, or did he think it was an after party? They took, apparently it's an hour's car ride from where he was at the festival. Maybe he just didn't realise. Maybe they just promised him another drink, maybe a few drugs or whatever. Young people do that. They go off for after parties. They don't look at danger. So that is one thing that I think, why did he go up there? That's a bit of a mystery to me, why he went there, why he didn't go home with his friend Lucy. And where was the other friend, Brad, at the time? Where was he? And the other mystery to me is how he left there and didn't charge his phone up, etc. It's not many young people don't think to charge their phone. No matter how drunk they are, no matter how stoned they are, no matter how whatever they are, as soon as you go to a place where you can plug your charger in, they'll be like, oh, come on, let's plug our chargers in. So these are things that do surprise me, but they surprise me, but they're not ridiculous.
That she saw Jay and he asked her a couple of times what time the bus was coming. Then about 20 minutes later, so it's about 8:30 on that Monday, he was then seen by this eyewitness going the wrong direction. She drove her car past him and she was obviously quite confused by that. And also, as part of that timeline, we understand that Jay spoke to his friend Lucy Law, who he was apparently here with at the festival. And that call was around about 8:50 a.m. He said he had no phone battery, that he had pricked his foot on a cactus, that he didn't have water, and that he was trying to walk back. And that walk would have been 11 hours back towards Los Cristianos, which is where he was staying, which is more central in Tenerife.
It strikes me, Shingy, that this part of the island, national park, plenty of trekking routes, of course. But even if he hadn't been dehydrated, even if he hadn't just come off of 3 days of being at a festival and a party with 2 unknown men, even if he had proper footwear and adequate water, it would still have been a journey and a half, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been.
Exactly. So even seasoned hikers, Jay obviously didn't realise this. Jay's from Oswald Twistle. He's never been abroad before, apparently. He probably had absolutely no idea what this place was. Now, bearing in mind, he'd been staying in Los Americanos, which is completely different. It's the tourist strip. Maybe he thought the whole of Tenerife was like that. Maybe just wasn't expecting, that there'd be this great big natural park there. And, I think he would not have known about that. I bet. I've only just heard about it, really. Not that I've ever been to Tenerife, but, it's not something that everybody knows about. So he probably didn't even know that there was that great big ravine there. He probably thought he could just take a shortcut or, whatever. He wasn't aware. He wasn't cognizant of the vastness of where he was and the danger that was there. He wasn't, he just wasn't aware of it. That's my personal opinion, but it could be that there is more to it. I would not. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised at anything that comes out, because we all know that from watching true crime, truth is stranger than fiction. Sometimes something will come out that you just weren't expecting whatsoever. And this may be what happens in Jay's case. But I do think it's perfectly feasible. We're going to have a look at the terrain again in a minute. I do think it's perfectly feasible that he just had no clue of the danger he was walking into, and he walked right into it.
A really difficult trek. On Saturday, we spoke to an American hiker who...
Don't forget to put your answer to the poll.
Told us that she's pretty fit. She does a lot of this sort of thing. And she was walking in one of the areas where the police were searching near a ravine, and it was really difficult, real mind over matter stuff, a real grind. So for him or anyone to walk down or walk up that sort of arid part of Tenerife would have been really, really difficult. And that also would make any search operation really, really difficult. There's a one-track road to get up there, really windy. And the higher you get, the more there's a bit of a microclimate where it's windy and it's cold and it's, it's sunny one minute, then there's cloud cover the next. It would have been hard.
You mentioned the two men that were among the last to see Jay Slater. Do we know anything more about them? It's been reported that they're British. It's been reported that they have subsequently left the island. Can you confirm any of that?
Talking to the Spanish police, the Spanish authorities, La Guardia Civil, the Civil Guard, they aren't answering many of those questions. We've put a lot of that to them, but there hasn't been much more.
Yeah, I mean, the Guardia Civil are not going to answer, are they, I suppose? And that can mean anything you think it can mean. It might mean that the men are being suspected. It might mean the men have been cleared. The Guardia Civil literally are not going to tell anybody anything, not even Mark Williams' twonk. So, I don't know what Mark Williams thinks he's going to find out in 2 days, but we'll see. Hopefully he will, but he won't find anything out from the police. That's for sure.
That we can say Ophelia, the eyewitness, who we understand through a booking agency, worked out the arrangement for those two men to stay there. Again, didn't have much more information apart from the fact that they stayed one more day and then they left. So that is all we know. The questions are still out there. We'll be trying to ask them constantly, but their identities, apart from them being British and apart from them being with Jay and heading up there, are still shrouded in quite a bit of mystery. Spanish police won't tell us if they're talking to them in any shape or form, whether there's any sort of element of them being involved in this investigation.
Shinga, you mentioned the fact that the family, of course, are close to where you are right now. I mean, dear God, I can only imagine what is going through Jay's mother, Debbie's, mind at a time like this. Obviously, they will be incredibly stressed. They will be incredibly worried. What are they saying publicly?
So I spoke to Jay's dad on Saturday. He had been to retrace Jay's steps, and he was incredibly emotional. I can't begin to stress that enough. There are points where he would give me an answer on camera and then walk away and then come back. It's almost like trying to compose himself because of what has happened. And
yeah, I've got to say, when I've seen the family being interviewed, to me, they seem very genuine. I don't feel that they're not being genuine in their worry for their son. So I don't really understand a lot of the conspiracy theories, because to me, they just look genuine. But you know what? I could be wrong. I always hold my hands up that I might be wrong, but not in my view at the moment. I've seen nothing to think that they're suspicious.
His main point was he just wants his boy back, and he really, really hopes that someone's helped Jay off the mountain, which obviously you and I looking at it would see as highly unlikely, but they're really trying to cling on to hope. Saw him today as well. He was in this town square here and handing out leaflets, but looking at places where he could stick some up. And really, it boils down to desperation. He's a father who doesn't know where his son is. And when journalists go up to him, and there's quite a few people trying to discuss it with him, one of his bigger points is, how would you feel if you were a dad and you were in my position?
What's been the response from the islanders?
Here, for example, in Santiago del Tid, which is the next town along from Masca, where a lot of the search is, there's just people seem quite puzzled. people.
Yeah, now I just want to go back to, I think, where these conspiracy theories and all the nasty things that people are saying, because Jay has got past. There's something that I've noticed lately when I've been researching Spanish news. They seem to have fastened onto this sort of later. You know, obviously everyone was talking about this a lot earlier on in the British press. Maybe was it about by Wednesday, Thursday, Jay's past had come to light, and Jay does have, you know, a checkered past. I mean, he was amongst a group of boys when he was 16 who attacked another boy with a machete and an axe. You know, I mean, it's, you know, it's not just your normal sort of shoplifting things that teenagers get up to. He has got past, and of course, that I think is colouring the views on the whole situation. And as I say, they seem to have sort of logged onto this now on the Spanish news, which is a shame, because at the end of the day, in my opinion, he's still a 19-year-old boy whose mother and father want him home. And, you know, whatever, he might be a twonk, you know, I don't know, because it was 3 years ago. Has he changed his life around? His employer had very good things to say about him. You know, at the end of the day, he was involved in a gang culture. If anybody who knows about those situations, sometimes situations where people are brought up and they're just in that life. And I'm not excusing him, I'm just saying, you know, there but for the grace of God, in my eyes, you know, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, because unless you've been brought up in those kind of environments with that kind of peer pressure, you don't know. You just don't know what you might have done or what your children might have done. It seems to me he's caused his mum a lot of sleepless nights up to now, and now more sleepless nights, and that must be very difficult for her.
Or putting missing posters outside of their shops and their businesses for a British young man who's been missing for a week now. There's that air of, I would say, confusion as to how this has happened, and I suppose the size of the search and the size of the story, the fact that there are British journalists on top of a hill that's usually a fairly popular hiking route. There are as many points it feels like, you know, journalists are giving hikers a run for their money in terms of numbers. And again, people are perplexed. The hikers you talk to say things like, you know, when you come up here, you need to be ready and you need to be prepared. The local business owners we talk to, again, just perplexed about the scale of the interest that we have in this story, which is obviously being pushed on by social media. I'd say confusion and interest are the kind of main emotions. But just as a kind of small snippet, when I spoke to Ophelia, the business owner who lives above the Airbnb I went to, then there are other journalists. And then by the end of the day, she's pretty tired of explaining what she saw happen. And again, pretty bewildered as to how there is this much of a kind of clamor around this.
As of this moment, this remains a missing persons inquiry rather than something more concerning.
Yeah, that's right. And as I said, we've tried to speak to the Spanish police essentially every morning at the very least. But they say because this is an ongoing search and rescue, an ongoing missing persons investigation, they cannot comment. I don't think they'll go further. You would like to think at some point maybe there's a press conference or some kind of discussion as to how the search is going. But most of what we get from them is videos that they upload, kind of sharing snapshots and snippets of the search, talking to people informally on the ground, like the civil guard or the emergency services, very much gets you moved along rather than gets you answers. So yeah, it's
yeah. And going on what he's just said, I'm just going to pause that because I'm going to show you the news that came out over the last couple of days, which was they found another hiker as they were looking for Jay. I say another hiker, Jay's not a hiker. But I think this is really important to illustrate that even seasoned hikers, people who are used to hiking, this guy was a Scottish guy. He was out there with a team of other hikers. He was supposed to come back to the meeting point at a certain time, and he got lost and disorientated because, you know, I mean, and how often does it happen in places. How often have I seen, because I have mentioned it before in videos, how much it annoys me when these bloody hikers go off mountain trekking, take their dog with them, take their child with them. There was one recently of a guy who took his child with him, and they were both found dead because they got lost. And they're on places that they recognise, that they're familiar with. So let's just have a look at this. Yeah, so it was in the Sun, it was in the Daily Mail. Hunt for missing Jay Slater takes a new turn after Spanish police reveal they found a tired and disorientated British hiker stuck in the ravine during their search on the holiday island of Tenerife. So he was lucky, this Scottish guy, is lucky that they were out searching for Jay, because if they hadn't been out searching for Jay, they might not have found him so quickly. So he was dramatically saved by Spanish police during their search for the missing teenager on the island of Tenerife. A tired and disorientated Scottish hiker was rescued from a ravine in the Los Carrizales, a neighbourhood near the Rural de Teno National Park, where Jay's phone last pinged. Police said that when the 51-year-old man failed to return to the start point of his walk after several hours, locals alerted mountain rescue teams who were at that moment in the search for the missing man, Jay Slater. So yeah, very lucky he was that the police, because otherwise they would have had to call out the mountain. They would have had to call out the mountain rescue or the police. But luckily for him, because of Jay, the police were already there. So a spokesman for the Policía Local Buenavista del Norte, and I'm going to read that, I found the Spanish tweet of that, said that, Facebook it's on, said that the hiker was found in a difficult area that is not suitable for tourists. Not suitable for travel. And they added, tired and disorientated, he was located by the agents and the rescue team who helped him get out of the ravine. We want to thank these neighbours for giving alert to this situation, because due to the difficulty and lack of communication in the area, this hiker would not have managed to get out by his own means. Without the help received, that would have been another search in another week or so, or everybody looking for him. Local police in Buenavista del Norte, alongside the Civil Protection Mountain Rescue Team, located the hiker in the Asomada Canyon. Spanish police are continuing to search for British teenager Jay, and then it goes through all the circumstances, which of course we know. So yeah, that's very, that guy owes Jay his life, really. So they've got the tweet here. This is the tweet in English. Not tweet, I think it was a Facebook post. Success. Last Friday, agents of this local police, in collaboration with the Civil Protection Mountain Rescue Team, rushed to the rescue of a 51-year-old Scottish hiker. Now, those old people like me will think, God, that's quite young. So he was 51, but he was tired and disorientated. Because don't forget, it would have been hot as well. This is not like hiking in Scotland. This is hiking in Tenerife. It's hot. It's a different climate. And there off he went. People, why do people see this as, sorry, I shouldn't say it, but, I really do not understand the attraction of hiking in difficult areas. I understand the attraction of hiking. I love hiking, but don't understand the point of going to dangerous places and do it. I literally don't. So after several hours passed without returning to the starting point, the agents were alerted, who at those moments were in the search for the missing young man, Jay Slater, and tired and disorientated, he was located by the officers and rescue team who helped him get out of the ravine. We want to thank those neighbours for giving the alert to this situation, because due to the difficulty and lack of communication in the area, this hiker would not have managed to get out by his own means without the help received. So I'm presuming they mean there's no, because he probably had his phone with him, but there's probably no signal. So that's one bit of good news, though, I suppose, that at least, that man was saved. Let's go back to, where was that? Yeah, let's go back to just hear the end of this podcast.
Being treated as a missing persons investigation in which there is very little information coming from the emergency services here, whether it is formal or informal.
Shingy, many thanks. We will be back in just a moment with a former chief constable discussing the tensions that exist when an investigation of this type meets with massive social media interest. Back soon.
Oh, here we go. They're going to start blaming social media now.
Welcome back. In missing persons cases, the first few days of the inquiry often prove pivotal. 7 days on from his disappearance, the family of Jay Slater remain hopeful for his safe return, but must also be aware that in circumstances like this, no news is usually bad news. Sue Sim was Chief Constable of Northumbria Police and led plenty of high-profile investigations, including the 2010 hunt for Raoul Moat after his 2-day shooting spree. Sue, great to have you back on the podcast. And this is an area of Tenerife that do you actually know well?
Yes, it's one of my favourite parts of Tenerife. I've visited it very, very often with my family. The only problem there is the very, very treacherous terrain. If you are not fitted with the correct walking gear, with the correct equipment, it is absolutely treacherous, unfortunately. Beautiful, but treacherous.
You are, like myself, obviously at a remove from what is taking place in Tenerife. But from your position, what is your assessment of the way in which the Spanish police, the Guardia Civil, have been handling this?
The Guardia Civil are doing everything they can with their resources, with their mountain rescue teams. And when I did the Raoul Moat investigation and we were searching for him, the mountain rescue teams were absolutely invaluable. They were fantastic. They are all adding all of their resources to try and find Jay. What I would say, having led massive inquiries of this type, is please do not spend time putting things onto social media. Please do not try and hamper this investigation in any way. If you have genuine intelligence or evidence as to where Jay might be, phone your local police.
Now, all I would say here is that, posting on social media is not necessarily hampering an investigation, as long as I do think this of posting pictures and saying, oh, this could be him or that could be him, that does hamper the investigation, because the police have to go and check out all these things. To me, someone like Mark Williams Thomas, flying over there will hamper the investigation more than anything, because he would just result in lots of false things. He'd be selling stories to the papers like he tried to do with Nicola Bulley. He'd be causing havoc. The thing is, I don't think the Guardia Civil will put up with him, but the trouble is the British press will fasten on him because he's got contacts not in the proper press. He's got contacts in GB News, Talk TV, all those kind of things that say they're not social media, but they are social media. They're not mainstream media. And they moan about social media, but only because social media normally gets more views than they do. He will cause more problems, I think, than anyone. Somebody just posting and saying, we hope Jay's found, or, those, even posting theories that might not, but not, posting videos and pictures. They should go directly to the police, not be put on Facebook or TikTok or whatever. If somebody's got a photo that they think is Jay, or a CCTV that they think is Jay, they should send it directly to the police. I don't know why they feel that they wouldn't, but anyway, So I do agree with this woman up to a point and not up to another point.
They will be able to get in touch with the Garda Civil and they will pass any intelligence you have on to that organisation. The worst thing that people can do sitting at home in their armchairs is to speculate about what might have happened. There has been no suggestion of crime having been happened in this instance at this time.
And that is something we are going to talk an awful lot more about in just a second. But you mentioned there the resources that the Spanish police will be throwing at what is currently a missing persons investigation. Lancashire Constabulary have offered their assistance, but I suppose at times like this, that is probably just what you would do. I'm not entirely certain what practical assistance police officers from Lancashire could offer on the ground in a place that is not their jurisdiction.
None.
Well, first of all, you've got the jurisdiction issues, but then
there's nothing the Lancashire police can do except maybe help the family, because send a family liaison officer out. Maybe it would have been better if they did that rather than Mark Williams Twonk go out there. But they cannot help with the search. They don't speak Spanish. They don't need interpreters for everything. So there's no way that the police could help. And there's, up to now, it is a missing persons investigation. Maybe this is what the Spanish police said to them. They did not refuse help. The British press made it out as if, they refused help and blah, de, blah, de, blah. All they said was, at this moment in time, they have the resources they need. But if they need to reconsider in the future, they will. It's as simple as that. I was talking to one of my students this morning about this case because he's interested in true crime as well. And we were saying, could you imagine, when Nicola Bulley went missing or any high-profile case in the UK, bring the Guardia Civil in? It's so ridiculous. It doesn't even bear thinking about. It's like if a Spanish person even went missing in I don't know, in some famous sort of national park in the UK, like in Snowdonia or in the Lake District. Wouldn't matter that they were Spanish. You wouldn't bring the Guardia Civil in. You wouldn't bring the Spanish police in to help search. It's so ridiculous that people even would consider that would be an option to do. Of course you don't do that. Ridiculous. They help with the investigation. Ultimately, if the Spanish people involved in the investigation, there would be like collaboration with the Guardia Civil. But you won't bring the Guardia Civil in to help search a lake or help search a forest because you were looking for a Spanish person who was living in the UK or on holiday in the UK. If you think of it that way, it is the most ludicrous idea.
What they would be looking to send out probably are their search teams. Their search teams are used to searching in Lancashire. Let me reassure you, the terrain for any police search teams to get used to is absolutely different from anywhere in this country. I've heard it spoken to as being similar to Snowdonia. I know
it's nothing like Snowdonia.
Snowdonia as well, very well. It's very, very different. Of course, they wouldn't be able to send anything over.
And the climate is completely different. British police are not used to searching in those kind of weather conditions, etc. It's crazy.
To support the Garda Civil for a missing persons inquiry.
We are now, of course, a week on from the last confirmed sighting of Jay Slater. I don't want to be overly morbid here, but I do wonder, given the passage of time, whether there will now be a working assumption on the part of Spanish police that this is now a recovery operation.
They will be hoping that somebody has taken him in. As I've stressed before, this is a very, very remote area of Tenerife. And not everybody has television, not everybody has radio. It would, however, be very, very surprising if he'd been kept away for a week. So yes, the chances are that this is now, unfortunately, a recovery operation. I must stress that the Garda Civil have not said that.
Of course.
They are looking, they are trying their best to find him, but 7 days without water, which he said he had no water, without the appropriate clothing, that is a very, very long time to be alone in that sort of terrain.
I mean, you've mentioned already the huge efforts that are ongoing thanks to the Spanish police in Tenerife. What do you make of those Brits who have either cut short their holiday on Tenerife or indeed even flown out there directly with the express purpose of, in inverted commas, helping
I would
in the
appeal for
investigation?
people not to do that. The issue is the Garda Civil and the mountain rescue team and the people that they have got involved are all trained in this area of work.
Listen, the police aren't going to let normal people anywhere near that search area. So it's just ridiculous to think you can go out there and help to look for Jay. How can you? How it's impossible. Anyway, never mind. I mean, I know people are well-meaning, you know, going out there, going to help search. Now, if you've got some expertise and you go out there, you know, if you and talk to the Guardia Civil or the recovery people, the fire services, and see, they may say, oh yeah, come out with us and help or whatever, but not some, you know, Joe Blogs like me or you or, you know, anyone who hasn't got any expertise in that. That'd be like me saying, oh, you know, oh yeah, come along and be a Spanish teacher. You've got no experience in teaching Spanish. You've never taught Spanish, but yeah, come along and help me teach Spanish to these people. These people are experts and we have to let them do their job. You do feel, especially with that tourist having been found, why has Jay not been found so far? But you know what, Jay, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but what that tourist that got lost and was found was walking around and could hear voices when people were calling for them and that. I think what they're looking for with Jay, even though they're, as that lady said, they're not saying that it's a recovery operation, it's not very likely that he's still walking around, still being able to hear what people are shouting to him. So they are looking for a stationary object. That is much harder. I think we have to remember that. And the good, it's sort of come to a point, isn't it, where almost the best case scenario is that he has been kidnapped. Because if he has been kidnapped, you know, and held to ransom for money, for drugs or for whatever, at least he'll still be alive and he's got a chance of coming out of this. But I don't believe that that's true. Personally, I don't. I know a lot of people do, but personally, that's not my idea. I think they will find Jane. I think he's out there somewhere, bless him. A very unfortunate accident, but as I say, I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time.
Work to actually go along as a slightly upgraded armchair detective is not going to help Jay. If, as I repeat, if you have any intelligence, any information at all, phone your local police who will get it out to the Garda Civil. Do not just go and trample over potential evidential trails.
Exactly.
The other thing is, if people go out unprepared, then you could potentially be looking for more missing people.
But once again, we appear to find ourselves in a position where social media, the internet in general, is abuzz, is awash with people not simply speculating, idly speculating, but constructing, you know, as some might go as far as to say, conspiracy theories about what has happened on the ground. What can the police, what indeed can Jay's family do to try and halt what I imagine you believe to be some pretty unproductive and unhelpful words from ill-informed people on social media?
I think social media can be an extremely helpful tool, but in this particular instance, I think it is very, very damaging to this inquiry. Do not, please, I would appeal to Jay's mum and his friends and to his family. Do not read this rubbish. And I say that, not lightly, but this rubbish that is abounding about your son and your friend. Let the police do their job. And for people who have nothing better to do than to put conspiracy theories onto social media when there is a young man who is missing, all I can say is shame on you. It's absolutely appalling behaviour.
As you've already said, Sue, you yourself have been involved in some pretty high-profile investigations. What is it like to be the senior investigating officer in circumstances like this, where someone has gone missing, where there is an awful lot of media attention, and where there is an awful lot of social media attention?
What you have to do is you have to focus, and that's what the officer who's leading this investigation will be doing. I had the best piece of advice that I've ever received from my long-term communications director, who actually told me, do not start looking at social media. Make sure that you actually follow the facts. You have to remember that there is a family who is absolutely distraught about their missing relative and their missing friend. Don't go reading the social media and cause yourself problems and upset yourself. Have faith in the investigation. From what I can see, they are doing everything they can for a missing persons inquiry.
Sue, thank you.
Okay.
And that is your lot for today.
Well, just as we were listening to that, there is some breaking news that's come in on Facebook from one of the family friends, Rachel. So I'm going to have a look at that. So, according to the J. Slater Missing Only official group, Rachel Haag, who is, of course, friend of the family, specialist search dogs brought in to search for the teenager. Now, will these be those dogs that can pick up, electronic devices, etc.? So that's what they're saying now on Sky News. Dog taking this work, that was last week. So specialist search dogs have been drafted in from the Spanish capital in Madrid to help in the hunt. So brought in from Madrid, because the thing is, they probably won't have these specialist dogs in Tenerife, or they obviously had some dogs were looking, but the specialist dogs will be in Madrid. Same in Britain, isn't it? They don't have the specialist dogs in every single police area. Same in Australia, when we were seeing about Samantha Murphy, they had to be brought in from Victoria or New South Wales. These dogs are so specialist. They're not just, there's not loads of them all over the place. So this is a really good sign, I think. I think they are going to find, the police obviously think they're going to find Jay in that area somewhere. So we'll see. So they've been drafted in from the Spanish capital in Madrid to help in the hunt for the missing British teenager Jay Slater. It goes through the story. I'm not going through the whole story again. That's it. Oh no, so Tenerife police confirmed today that several dogs from Madrid are now helping with the search and rescue effort. So the police are not deviating from this theory that's... Oh, I haven't shared it, sorry. The police are not deviating from this theory that this is where Jay is. That's where they think he is, and they're concentrating on that. So the force said the civil guard continues with the search device for the young British man. This will be a bad English translation. Of the young British man who disappeared in the Masca neighbourhood belonging to the municipality of Buenavista del Norte, in which different units of the civil guard operate. And in addition, today, several canine guides of the civil guard dispatched from Madrid with their canine agents specialised in the search for people on large areas of land belonging to the Sinological Service of the Civil Guard. Yeah, and this is this new image that's supposed maybe Jay, but anyway. So the main news, if you like, is that they're bringing in specialist dogs, isn't it? So what I want to look at now, we're just going to put a few windows down. Now, somebody sent me, and thank you very much, they'll know who they are when they see. Somebody sent me this mysterious video, which is a TikTok video, which, to be perfectly honest, no offense to the people who sent it me, but I don't think it's got any relevance. But it led me to something else that I do think is relevant. So first of all, I'm just going to show this video while I just go and get some more water because my voice is going as usual. Am I sharing this? Oh, how do I stop it? Hang on, I just got to make sure it... No, so I need to share it. Hang on. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a mysterious video. Right, I'm back. So yeah, I don't know, Heather, if that's supposed to be him. This is a live webcam from the Tenerife website that we're going to have a look at in a minute, and I'm not really sure why this has been put on TikTok as anything to do with Jay Slater. Personally, I don't think it's got anything to do with Jay Slater, but I appreciate being sent it. you know, at the moment, I think people must be sitting there watching these bloody webcams just 24 hours a day, just looking for anything that's going on. You know, everything can't be Jay, you know, so that's my opinion anyway. But then again, as always, I could always be wrong. It might be everything to do with him, but I don't think so. But I'm just showing it you. We'll just watch it to the end. And then what's more important is what I'm very grateful for is then it led me to this site, and I want to show you the Tenerife site where it shows all these different areas, gives us, again, it's good for us to get an insight into the areas that we're talking about. Actually, I'm turning the music down because I've just thought that may well be copyright. I don't know what that music is even. So yeah, I mean, I think it is exactly that, a bit of a scam, isn't it? Just so that people will watch it and they'll get, you know, you basically you could put on any video of from Tenerife, shady video of some, you know, guys or whatever. You're going to get 1 million views, aren't you, or whatever? So, but if we go on to what it was interesting for me is it led me on to these are the live cams that everybody's on. I think let's have a look at that live cam where that came from. I bet they've never had so many views. So the website is Canarias Live, and there's all different. So there's all the different parts of the Canaries. The only place I've been to there is Lanzarote. I've been to Lanzarote. It's very pretty, very nice. So if you go into Tenerife, and then you go into the cameras en directo, the live cameras, you've got all these different ones to choose from. So you've got Los Cristianos. That, of course, is the real touristy place, isn't it? Not everyone's on the beach. But you can see how windy it is, even though it's a green flag, but it's always windy in the Canaries. Looks idyllic, doesn't it? The beaches, etc. So this is where Jay was staying in Los Americanos. So you've got 399 people online there. If then you go to, let's have a look. If you go to the Masca, which is where Jay has gone missing, there's 1,105 people online watching this. Is this the police searching? Hang on, let's see. What is this? Are they people? I'm not quite sure. Oh no, there's a car moving there. These are trees, aren't they, or something? So there's 1,105 people sitting just looking at that, including us, looking for some clue, for some, I don't know, for so. And listen, I'm sort of making light of it, but I don't mean to, because it's important. But not only that, most people, probably 90%, even more, of the people that are interested in this case is because they genuinely hope that they're genuinely caring what has happened to Jay and why has he not been found yet. But of course, you'll always get, other people who are not. But yeah, so 1,101 people have at this moment sat looking at this webcam. Now, the other place I just wanted to look at, I don't think we're going to see anything on there, but I certainly won't be sitting there just looking at it for hours on end. The other place that Jay was supposedly seen, which has probably come from one of these webcam things, was in Santiago del Teide, which is in the south. And look, there's 4 different ones there. And this is where that shady picture of Jay, or perhaps of Jay, blurry picture that people were saying might be Jay, has come from. So I'm not sure from which one, but you've got all these different ones that you can look at. 3 of which seem to be beaches, to be honest, or ports. Let's just have a look. Start playing. See, there's only 64 people online there. So obviously they're not thinking Jay's there. Let's have another look at the others. Yeah, not people watching there, so yeah. So just wanted to show you that. So if you want to look at the live webcam, if you want to study it, of course, by the time the sun goes down, but the sun doesn't go down till about 10, but it's pitch black then, you can't see anything. Though you'll be able to see something in the more, like in Los Americanos. Let's just go back on. You might see Mark Williams' twonk wandering around. Where's Los Americanos? Let's have a look at Buena Vista del Norte. The Masca. Yeah. If you go on to Los Americanos, as I say, you may well see Mark Williams' twonk wandering around there. I don't know where he is at this moment in time. But if you want to look at this is the park where Jay's gone missing. He was walking down this road. There are roads going through it. Did he go off the road? Is he in one of these buildings? But of course, the police have searched all the buildings. So I think it'll be interesting to see when the search dogs, these specialist search dogs from Madrid, will they find anything different? Will something more come up? We can only hope so, can't we? Let me see. I don't think I've really got anything more different to tell you about as far as Jay's concerned. As I say, in the Spanish press, the things that I got up about the Spanish news, really the most striking thing is how they suddenly seemed to have found out about, Jay's past, which, is not very nice. So, and they're concentrating on that a lot at the moment. But they're a few days behind the British press, if you like, in that. Yes, Claire has been on today, David. Claire has been on today. Maybe not on the lives, but she's been in the comments. So, yeah, Claire's fine. Oh, now I'm just going to, talking at Selena, hi. I'm just going to, enjoy the beach, Charlie. I'm just going to have a look at the GoFundMe before we finish, because a lot of people are concerned about the GoFundMe. Should it be sort of halted now? People are still donating. Some 35,401. you know, there you go. I'm not commenting on this. I don't like GoFundMe's, but I understand why they've got GoFundMe. And you know what? It isn't really any of my business. If people want to contribute to this, that's their money. If they want to contribute it, it's nothing to do with anybody else, really. And I don't know that it's been withdrawn or not. I don't know that. You know, people saying that it's been withdrawn. His mum says it's not being withdrawn until we've got a definitive answer to what's happened to Jay. One thing I'm just going to look at is how much does it cost to repatriate a body? Sorry to be depressing, but this might be the reality that they are looking at. Oh, nobody just gives you a straight answer, do they? I just want an approximate price. I know it can cost an awful lot of money, but I still think they are. Oh, it costs from £3,600 according to Slater's International. So they are well over that amount. They don't really need any more money. They're, you know, if I was Jay's mum now, I would just stop that GoFundMe as it is and say, thank you very much. The money's there. I'm going to keep hold of it. I'm going to see what happens, see if I need it. And if I don't need it, I'll give it back. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I haven't got any more news to tell you. I don't think any news on Germany. I've got a couple of classes in a bit, and then I'm doing the members live, the Carry On Chatting live. We're going to be talking about something completely different. We're going to talk about the court cases that are happening at the moment with Holly Willoughby, of course, her Gavin Plum, who, gosh, when you look into the charges against him and the things he's done and the things he's said, it's absolutely terrifying. You know, you look at him and you think, well, obviously he couldn't do it himself because he looks like he couldn't even get out of the door, really. But he did, you know, he has definitely plotted, whether it's just some sort of sick fantasy or not. That's for people to make their mind, that's for the jury to make their mind up. But no, who has those kind of sick fantasies? And he's taken it further than that. He was actually trying to get people to help him. He's tried to attack women in the past, you know. So I think this is a serious case. And as you know, I'm not Holly Willoughby. She's not my favourite person, but I would not wish that on any woman. I mean, I think it's terrible. So we're going to look at that. We haven't looked at that so far because I haven't really had a chance. So that's what I'm going to look at tonight in the members. In the members tonight, in the members live, in the Carry On Chatting, we're going to chat about Holly Willoughby and this kidnap and murder plot, which is really, really serious. Okay, so if you are a member of Carry On Chatting, we'll talk about that later. If not, you never know, I might be back before that because you never know what news is going to come out. But I'd be struggling to get out before that now because I've got classes. And then, of course, after that live, England, there's a little team called England that are playing football in a little thing called the Euros. So I will hopefully be watching that. But yeah, any developments, if there's any developments in Jay's case or any other that we're covering, and of course that news this morning about Caleb Harris's possibly or probably Caleb Harris's body being found just shows you that, you know, sometimes things go quiet and then boom, suddenly there's some news. So, oh, Heather, I don't know how to help you with that. Hi, Sun, thank you for that. Honestly, I just don't know what to say. I've been looking, I was looking online. according to online, if you've got an iPhone, it should be literally just press it and you get the the list of how to of memberships and how to upgrade. But I know you've tried that and you say it's not coming up. Honestly, I just don't know what to say to you about that, how to advise you on that. Have you not got a computer then that you can put your YouTube? I honestly just don't know what to say. But there's nothing, is there, online, Heather? There's nothing. What can I say? Normally when you put, what I've been searching for you is like, why doesn't iPhone give me an option to upgrade? Nothing's coming up about it, so that's what makes me surprised. I don't, and it's difficult because I'm not there and I can't see your phone directly, but there must be a way. There must be a way. What if you don't go into the members and you go onto my channel? Anyway, you go onto my channel and then you press membership on there. It might come up that way. I honestly don't know. Yeah, boo hiss, David. Yeah, it says you should look at perks and give an option. Honestly, I don't know. I will have another look. I do look quite often. And I saw that you made a comment today, so I went on again and had a look, but I just don't know what to say unless you speak to iPhone or speak to YouTube. So yeah, boo hiss, but England are going through already, but what everyone wants is a good game, don't they? So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the game. Hope we don't lose. But even if we lose, we're still going through. But yeah, keep trying. I'm trying to think of some magical solution, Heather, and I just can't think of one. But okay, so thanks everyone for watching. Please don't forget to like. That means a lot to me, and that's a free way that you can help my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to press notifications, because that way, every day now, I'll be doing at least one live about Jay Slater until something is resolved. Hopefully there'll be some resolution, maybe even today, maybe tomorrow morning. You just have to hope that sooner or later that maybe these sniffer dogs will bring some resolution for Jay and his family. Okay, so thank you so much. And yeah, you remember, Heather, that's the main thing. So, but I know you want to join in the Tuesday night chats as well. I understand that's a shame. Honestly, if I could reach out and do it for you myself, I would. I'm just thinking, no, hang on. It won't work. Anyway, so thank you so much, everybody. And remember to live and love wisely and carefully. Poor Holly Willoughby, that's the price of fame. It's like you get the nice things about being famous, but I suppose you get these horrible things as well. Like, God, it's a hell of a story that when I looked into it, because I think at first I didn't really take it so seriously, but when you look into it, it is serious. He's been planning it for 2 years. He's bought all sorts of things. It's terrible, disgusting, and I don't like Holly personally, but I would never ever wish that on any woman. So I'll see you really soon in the next video, and until no, Chumby, you wasn't on the live. You would have got the video later, because I do release the videos then later on, but you can't have been on the live because I make them you weren't on the live, Chumba. Sorry, you weren't. You definitely weren't. Well, you didn't make any comments anyway, but I do release them later on, maybe on the Wednesday or Thursday. Anyway, never mind. So, adios, and until I see you again, as usual, may your God always be with you.